You've probably been told countless times that manifesting the life you've always dreamed about is incredibly hard and complicated, requiring you to follow elaborate and intricate rituals that take forever to complete. You've been told it demands endless visualizations that drain your energy, perfectly worded affirmations that you need to repeat over and over, and a constant exhausting grind just to raise your vibration to the right level. But what if I told you something that might sound completely counterintuitive, that quantum manifestation is actually stunningly, elegantly, beautifully simple in its essence, so simple in fact that it almost feels too easy, which is precisely why almost nobody actually does it the right way or follows through with genuine consistency. Right now, in this very moment, as you're reading or listening to these words, you are living inside a quantum field, a vast, interconnected web of infinite possibilities, endless potentials, and limitless opportunities that surrounds you and moves through you constantly. This field is not something distant or theoretical, it's alive, responsive, and intimately connected to your every thought and feeling. The quantum field responds not to how much effort you exert or how hard you push against your current circumstances, but rather to your alignment, your coherence, your resonance with the reality you're choosing to inhabit. And yet, despite this profound truth, most people continue to approach manifestation like it's an exhausting fight, a battle they must win through sheer force of will. They try desperately to overpower their current reality using nothing but willpower, pushing against what is with everything they've got. They repeat affirmations they don't actually believe, deep down, words that feel hollow and empty as they leave their lips. They visualize outcomes they secretly doubt will ever materialize, creating beautiful mental images while their subconscious whispers that it's all just fantasy. And they force themselves to think positive thoughts while their physical body remains completely locked in fear, trapped in patterns of scarcity and stress that contradict every word they're speaking. This is the precise moment where the whole manifestation system collapses in on itself like a house of cards, because in the quantum world, in this realm of pure possibility, forcing and pushing create friction that repels what you're trying to attract. Let's strip this entire process down to something that's beautifully, refreshingly, profoundly simple in a way that cuts through all the noise and confusion. Quantum manifestation is fundamentally not about getting what you want through manipulation or control. It's actually about collapsing the version of reality where you already have what you desire into your lived experience through resonance. It's not about changing the external world first and then waiting to feel different inside. It's actually about embodying the internal signal, the frequency, the vibration that magnetically pulls that desired world toward you through quantum entanglement and energetic alignment. The quantum field, this invisible matrix of possibility that surrounds us all, holds literally every possibility imaginable. Success and failure both exist there simultaneously. Abundance and lack are equally present as potential outcomes. Love and loneliness both ripple through it as waves. Health and struggle coexist in the space of infinite choice. All of these possibilities, all of these potential timelines, already exist right now as waves of probability floating in the field, waiting to be observed and collapsed. But here's the absolutely crucial kicker that changes everything. The wave of possibility doesn't collapse into your actual lived reality, doesn't become your tangible experience, until it meets a coherent observer who holds a steady signal, and that observer is you, with all your complexity and contradictions. Your focus, where you place your precious attention moment by moment, your emotion, what you're actually feeling in your body and heart, they are quite literally the sculptors of reality, the artists painting on the canvas of possibility. But most people walking this planet are caught in an endless loop, a hamster wheel they can't seem to escape from no matter how hard they try. They're observing their life from a place of fear rather than trust, creating from a wound rather than from wholeness. You've been taught your whole life to chase after what you want, to pursue and hunt and strive relentlessly. But the real art of manifestation, the true mastery that few ever discover, is actually to become the version of you that no longer needs to chase anything, or prove anything, or fight for anything. It's the version of you that remembers at a deep cellular level, I am already entangled with the life I desire through invisible threads of quantum connection. The field is patiently waiting for my clear signal like a faithful dance partner waiting for me to lead. My job is not to push harder or try more or do more. It's simply to become clearer, more coherent, more aligned in every layer of my being. So, why don't more people actually do this simple thing if it's so straightforward? Because simplicity itself is disarming to our complex minds that love to make things complicated and difficult. Because letting go and releasing control feels deeply unnatural in a world that taught us to grip tightly and never surrender. Because surrendering the chase, releasing the desperate pursuit, feels dangerously like giving up entirely, like waving a white flag of defeat. But here's the paradox that absolutely no one talks about: the secret hidden in plain sight, the precise moment you stop needing something so desperately and urgently, the exact instant you release the white-knuckled grip of attachment. The field can finally deliver it to you effortlessly because you're no longer blocking the flow with resistance. Let me give you a tangible example from real life that you can probably relate to in your own experience. Think back to a specific time when something genuinely came to you completely effortlessly, flowing into your life with no struggle at all. Maybe you ran into the perfect person totally by accident in the most unexpected place at just the right moment. Maybe you got an amazing opportunity you weren't even actively seeking or applying for. It just showed up. Or maybe you had a brilliant breakthrough idea precisely when you weren't trying to force it, when you were relaxed and open. What's the common thread? The connecting pattern running through all of these synchronistic moments. You weren't gripping tightly with fear. You weren't forcing outcomes with desperation. You were simply open and receptive, aligned with possibility, available to receive what wanted to come through. That right there is quantum manifestation at work in its purest form, whether you consciously realized it in that moment or not. You see, here's the thing: the quantum field doesn't care even a little bit about your carefully chosen words or your eloquent speeches to the universe. It reads your energy signature, your vibrational broadcast, the frequency you're transmitting from every cell of your being. You can say out loud, "I am wealthy" 1,000 times with perfect pronunciation and conviction. But if your physical body is still broadcasting fear through tension and constriction, if your heart is still clenched tightly in scarcity, believing there's never enough, if your nervous system is still addicted to struggle and primed for survival mode, the field will mirror that underlying chaos back to you without fail, not because it's cruel or punishing you for not being good enough, but because it's precise and accurate in its reflection of your true state. So here's the radical shift in perspective that changes everything about how you approach manifestation. Quantum manifestation truly begins the moment you completely stop focusing on getting and acquiring and accumulating, and instead start focusing entirely on being and embodying and becoming. You become the signal you want to broadcast. You embody the vibration you want to experience. You let your state of being lead your entire life rather than your effort or striving or pushing. But that immediately raises a critical question that we need to explore deeply. What exactly does the quantum field actually respond to and pick up on? Is it just thoughts floating through your mind, or emotions moving through your heart, or beliefs held in your subconscious, or actions you take in the physical world? And how do you align all these different layers and dimensions so they're not constantly sending mixed messages that confuse and cancel each other out? This is precisely where most manifestation teachings completely fall apart and fail their students, leaving them frustrated and confused. They focus obsessively on just one piece of the puzzle, usually thoughts or feelings, without ever addressing the deeper coherence of the entire system working together as a unified whole. They tell you to think positive thoughts without ever addressing the trauma stored deep in your body's tissues and cells. They tell you to visualize beautiful outcomes without clearing the subconscious sabotage patterns that derail you every single time. They tell you to affirm success with conviction while your nervous system is still bracing for inevitable failure and disappointment based on past experience. But here's what they miss: the quantum field listens to the whole signal, the integrated and embodied signal coming from every level of your being simultaneously. And that's precisely why alignment isn't a mental game you play with yourself or a visualization exercise you do for 10 minutes. It's a full body, full system, full field shift that reorganizes your entire way of being in the world from the inside out. In the next part of this journey we're about to embark on together, we're going to break down in clear detail exactly how the quantum field works at its most fundamental level, why the observer effect matters so profoundly in determining your reality, what wave collapse really means beyond the scientific jargon, and how your subconscious mind broadcasts powerful signals constantly even when you're not consciously aware of it happening. We're going to expose and illuminate the elegant mechanics and beautiful physics behind what often seems like magic or wishful thinking. And I'm going to show you with crystal clarity why manifestation actually works best when you completely stop trying so hard and release the exhausting effort. So here's my open question for you, and I genuinely invite you to sit with this thoughtfully as we prepare for the next section. Where in your life right now are you trying so incredibly hard, pushing and forcing and striving with everything you've got, that you've paradoxically become the very block, the very obstacle, the very resistance you're desperately trying to break through? Ready to go deeper into the quantum with me and explore these mysteries together? Let's dive deeper into the mystery you've been unconsciously dancing around without even knowing it, circling around the truth without quite landing on it. The quantum field is not responding to your wishes and wants and desires, it's responding to your coherence, your alignment, your vibrational integrity as a whole being. At its heart, at its very core essence, quantum manifestation is not about thoughts alone floating through your mind like clouds, or emotions alone moving through your heart in waves, or even actions alone that you take in the physical world. It's fundamentally about how these three powerful forces, thought, emotion, and action, align together into a coherent signal that the quantum field can read clearly without distortion or static or interference. Think of the quantum field like a cosmic translator, an intelligent system that reads the language of energy. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned in the same direction, pointing toward the same destination, the message becomes crystal clear. The vibration becomes steady and unwavering, and the field responds almost instantly with matching circumstances and opportunities. But when you're thinking one thing in your head, feeling something completely different in your body, and doing something entirely disconnected with your actions, the message gets scrambled and confused. The signal becomes mixed and unclear. The field mirrors back to you not clarity and manifestation, but chaos and confusion and mixed results. This is where the observer effect comes in, a cornerstone principle of quantum physics that revolutionizes how we understand reality creation. At the quantum level, at the smallest scale of existence, particles exist in a state of pure possibility, infinite potential, what physicists call a wave function or superposition. But the moment when an observer, meaning you with your focused attention, focuses intentionally on a particular possibility out of all the infinite options, that wave of potential collapses instantly into a fixed event, a solid outcome. Reality solidifies from the mist of possibility, choices crystallize into actual experience. The unseen becomes seen and tangible in your life. But here's the catch, the part they don't tell you in most manifestation courses. The observer is not just your conscious mind with its plans and preferences. The observer is also, and often more powerfully, your subconscious mind running its programs beneath your awareness. This means that even if you consciously want abundance with every fiber of your conscious awareness, if your subconscious mind is wired for survival mode, for scarcity and limitation, or for fear of loss, the quantum field picks up on that hidden broadcast, that underground signal that's actually more powerful than your conscious intentions. Your subconscious becomes the true observer, the real decision maker, collapsing a timeline and creating a reality you didn't consciously choose or want. That's why so many genuinely good people feel stuck and trapped in repeating patterns. They're aligning their surface mind, their conscious thoughts and wishes, but completely ignoring the deep programs running beneath in the basement of their psyche. And in the quantum game, in this dance of creation, the subconscious always wins, always has the final say, because it's running the show 95% of the time. But it gets even more fascinating and scientifically verifiable when we look at the research. Scientists like Dr. Joe Dispenza and Dr. Bruce Lipton, pioneers in this field, have shown through rigorous studies that the heart has its own electromagnetic field, and this field is far stronger than the brain's electrical activity, measurably more powerful in its reach and influence. This heart field radiates outward in all directions and interacts directly with the larger quantum field around you, influencing what collapses into your reality. When your heart and brain are in coherence, when they are synchronized and working together harmoniously, you're sending out a powerful unified signal that the field can't help but respond to. When they're out of sync, fighting each other or contradicting each other, the signal becomes weak and fragmented, scattered, and ineffective. This is exactly why trying to manifest from your mind alone so often fails miserably and leaves you disappointed. Without the emotional component, without the felt sense of alignment in your body and heart, without the somatic experience of already having what you desire, the quantum field has no clear signal to mirror back to you. It's like trying to tune a radio with only half the components working. And this is where most people completely miss the mark, where they fall off the path. They want to think their way into change, to intellectually understand and figure out manifestation, when in truth, they must feel their way into alignment. They must embody the frequency first in their body and nervous system. You can't just tell the field what you want with words and thoughts. You have to become the vibrational match to it. You have to be it before you see it. That means consciously tuning your body, your breath, your nervous system, your beliefs, your daily choices into harmony with what you're calling in. It's not a one-time ritual you perform on a Sunday evening. It's not a weekend workshop you attend once. It's a living practice, a moment-by-moment way of being that you choose again and again. Let's take a real-world example that probably resonates with your own experience or someone you know. Imagine you want to manifest love, a beautiful romantic partnership that fulfills you. You can write affirmations on sticky notes all over your mirror, make elaborate vision boards with pictures of happy couples, visualize your ideal partner in perfect detail during meditation. But if deep down, underneath all that surface work, you're carrying unhealed wounds of unworthiness from your past, if your nervous system is braced for rejection based on previous heartbreaks, if your heart is armored and afraid to open and be vulnerable again, the quantum field feels that underlying tension. It picks up the contradiction between what you say you want and what you actually believe and expect. And what you get back is more longing that never gets satisfied, more searching that never finds what it's looking for, more almost, but not quite, connections that leave you feeling hopeless. It's not that the universe is punishing you for not being good enough or spiritual enough. It's not that you did something wrong or failed at manifestation. It's simply that the field is perfectly mirroring your dominant frequency, your underlying vibration, reflecting back to you exactly what you're broadcasting most consistently. So what's the shift, the way through, the solution to this common trap? The shift is into coherence, into wholeness, into feeling complete now in this moment. It's about practicing and embodying the emotions of what you desire before it shows up in physical form. It's about living in the state of already having it so consistently and convincingly that the field has no choice but to collapse that timeline into form, to bring it from potential into actual manifestation. You become the frequency first, you tune yourself to the station, and then the form follows naturally, effortlessly, inevitably. Now, this might sound like a lot to take in, like a big, overwhelming task, but here's the simple, profound truth that makes it all accessible. This is exactly why the title of this video says it's simple, yet nobody does it, because the human mind absolutely loves to complicate things and make them harder than they need to be. We want 10 steps, 5 hacks, a guaranteed formula we can follow mechanically. But the quantum isn't a machine you operate with buttons and levers. It's a mirror reflecting your state. It's a dance partner responding to your lead. It's alive, responsive, intelligent, and it's waiting patiently for you to meet it with a steady, embodied presence rather than desperate grasping. So here's where I want to invite you into this practice right now, not later. Take a deep breath right now as you're reading or listening. Bring your full awareness to this present moment. Notice how your body feels as you take in these words. Scan through your physical sensations. Notice where you're holding tension in your jaw, your shoulders, your belly, your chest. Notice the stories running automatically in the background of your mind, the narrative loops that play on repeat. And just for a moment, just for this breath, soften into what is. Let the grip loosen and relax. let the need to fix everything and force outcomes and figure it all out dissolve like sugar in water. Feel what it's like to be okay right here, right now, exactly as you are, without needing anything to change or be different. This, right here in this moment of acceptance and presence, this is where your real power begins, where true manifestation becomes possible. Before we move on to the next layer of understanding, I'd love to invite you into something that helps anchor this shift into your nervous system. If you're feeling a spark of recognition, if something in you is lighting up right now, if you felt even 1% more aligned after what we've explored so far, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon next to it. This isn't just me asking for a favor, this is an invitation to join a frequency, a community of conscious creators. We're not just watching content here, we're practicing new ways of being together. We're not just absorbing information, we're creating possibilities. We're not just learning facts, we're remembering who we really are. Let's grow and shift together. And in the comments right now, drop one word, just one single word, that names the energy you want to embody this week moving forward. Maybe it's trust, maybe it's ease, maybe it's joy, maybe it's flow, or maybe it's something uniquely yours that speaks to your soul. Whatever comes to you first, without overthinking it, that's your signal, that's your frequency speaking. Share it, name it publicly, let it be real and witnessed, because the moment you name it out loud, the moment you declare it to yourself and others, you start to align with it. You begin to tune your radio to that station. Are you ready to explore why no one talks about this part of manifestation? The part that's so simple, it almost feels like cheating, like you're getting away with something. Shall we move into the next layer of understanding together? So why is it that almost nobody actually does this practice consistently? Why do people give up or fall back into old patterns? Why, with all the books flooding bookstores, all the courses and programs and coaches, and endless YouTube videos on manifestation clogging up the internet, do so many sincere people stay stuck in the same place, frustrated with their lack of results and disappointed with their progress? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable to face directly, because letting go feels unnatural, because releasing control feels dangerous. The human mind is addicted to control, wired for it through evolution and conditioning. We've been conditioned from childhood to believe that the more we effort, the more we struggle and push, the more we deserve good things and success. That struggle equals worth and value, that the harder we work, the more likely we are to succeed and achieve our dreams. So when we encounter a system like quantum manifestation, where the central key is coherence, alignment, and surrender to the flow, it short-circuits our programming. It breaks the rules we've lived by. We keep trying to force outcomes and make things happen through sheer willpower, even though forcing is the very frequency, the exact vibration, that tells the field we don't trust the process, we don't believe it's working, we think we have to do it all ourselves. Let's break this down even further so you can see exactly where people get trapped. Most people who fail at manifestation, who give up and say this doesn't work, are caught in what I call the control trap, a sneaky pattern they don't even realize they're in. They are constantly monitoring their results obsessively, checking and measuring and tracking. They visualize abundance and prosperity in their meditation, but then check their bank account every hour with mounting anxiety, with a knot in their stomach. They script beautiful scenes about love and partnership, but then obsess over text messages and dating apps, analyzing every word and delay. They declare health and vitality out loud, but scan their body for symptoms every morning like detectives looking for clues, waiting for something to go wrong. In doing this, in this constant checking and monitoring and worrying, they send a signal of mistrust to the quantum field, a broadcast that says, I don't believe this is working. They are affirming one thing consciously with their words and intentions, but broadcasting the opposite message subconsciously through their behavior and emotional state. Why does this matter so much in the context of manifestation? Because the quantum field does not speak English or Spanish or Portuguese or any human language with grammar and syntax. It speaks the language of energy, of frequency, of vibration, and energy never lies. It can't fake or pretend. You can say all the right words with perfect pronunciation. You can follow all the right techniques with precision, But if your nervous system is bracing for loss and disappointment, if your mind is locked in loops of doubt and worry, if your body is flooded with cortisol and stress hormones, the field listens to that deeper frequency, that underlying signal, not your surface words. This is exactly why so many people are exhausted, burnt out, and ready to give up on manifestation entirely. They are doing all the things, checking off all the boxes, following all the steps, but they are doing them from a place of hyper-vigilance, from a state of scarcity and lack, from an energy of fear and mistrust. And so they loop endlessly. They manifest more waiting and delays, more lack and scarcity, more efforting and struggling, more searching and seeking, because energetically, vibrationally, they are not living in the timeline of already having what they want. They are living in the timeline of trying desperately to get it, of chasing something that always stays just out of reach. And here's where it gets even more subtle, even more hidden beneath the surface. The subconscious mind runs about 95% of your life. It's the operating system running in the background. It is the automatic pilot that shapes your habits without you thinking about them, your beliefs about what's possible, your emotional reactions to situations, and your sense of identity and who you are. You may consciously want a breakthrough, you may genuinely desire change with all your heart, but if your subconscious is anchored in old stories, in limiting narratives like "I'm not enough," "nothing works for me," "I have to fight for everything I get," those stories will collapse the wave of possibility into the same old outcomes, over and over again, like a broken record playing the same song forever. This is precisely why affirmations without embodiment feel hollow and fake, why they don't create lasting change. This is why visualizations without nervous system regulation collapse back to the default, why the pretty pictures fade. This is why action without aligned identity leads to burnout and exhaustion, why you can't sustain it. So what can you do? What's the way forward from this trap? First, you must understand deeply, not just intellectually but in your bones, that quantum manifestation is not an add-on to your life, not something extra you do for 10 minutes in the morning. It's a recalibration of your whole system, every level of your being. It's a remembering of who you really are beneath all the conditioning, a returning home to your true nature. It's about becoming the version of you that lives inside the timeline you desire, that breathes the air of that reality. Before you see evidence of that timeline in your external world through physical manifestation, for example, if you want to manifest abundance and financial freedom, you practice feeling abundant now in this moment, not later, when the money finally arrives in your account, but now with what you have. You treat yourself with generosity, with presence, and with care right now today. You let go of micromanaging the outcome and obsessing over the how, and you focus on embodying the signal of trust, the frequency of "it's already done, it's already mine." If you want love, deep romantic love that fulfills you, you practice loving yourself now in this present moment, not waiting for a partner to show up first. You open your heart to life itself, to beauty and connection all around you. You soften your edges and let your walls come down bit by bit. You become the kind of partner you wish to attract. You embody those qualities yourself. You stop seeking validation outside yourself and start living as though you are already enough, already worthy, already complete, because you genuinely are, whether you believe it yet or not. If you want health and vitality in your body, you stop scanning your body constantly for what's wrong, for signs of disease or aging, and you begin nurturing what's right, what's strong, what's alive in you. You shift from survival mode and constant stress into resilience and trust. You practice gratitude for the body you have right now, for all it does for you every day, while gently guiding it toward greater vitality with loving care. And here's the paradox that seems to defy logic but is absolutely true. When you stop needing it so badly, when you release the desperate attachment, it arrives faster into your life, more easily than you imagined. Not because the universe is testing you to see if you really want it or playing games with you to make you prove yourself, but because you are no longer the resistance, you are no longer the block, you've become the open channel. So, let me ask you this directly, and I want you to really consider this question. Where in your life right now are you still holding the steering wheel with white knuckles, gripping so tight your hands hurt? Where are you still measuring and tracking and forcing and chasing, refusing to relax even a little? What would happen? What would shift? If you loosened your grip by just 10%, if you let yourself trust just a little bit more. Pause with that question for a moment, let it sink in, feel into what wants to shift. This is not about passivity, about giving up or not caring, or just waiting around. It's about shifting from control to co-creation, from forcing to allowing. And that shift, subtle, powerful, revolutionary in its simplicity, is where quantum manifestation actually begins to work, where the magic happens, where reality starts to bend toward you. In the next section, we're going to talk about the simple but rarely practiced techniques that can help you realign your system practically, regulate your state effectively, and become the clearest signal possible to the quantum field that surrounds you. We'll explore how to dissolve resistance without bypassing your real emotions and pretending everything's fine. How to build trust with your subconscious mind that's been protecting you. And how to step into the timeline you desire as though it's already yours, as though you're already living it. So, here's my question for you to reflect on before we move forward together. Where in your life are you gripping so tightly, holding on so hard, that you've become the very block you're trying to remove, the very obstacle in your own path? So here, we stand right at the edge of the most powerful truth in quantum manifestation, the part almost no one talks about openly, the part hidden in plain sight that changes everything, the part that will revolutionize your understanding. It's this: you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are at your core. This isn't just a pretty idea to write in your journal or a motivational quote to post on your wall. It's a fundamental principle, a law of physics, that shapes how the quantum field interacts with you every single moment. The field doesn't respond to your words, your vision boards with magazine cutouts, or your Pinterest perfect affirmations that you copied from someone else. It responds to the signal of your being, to your vibrational signature, to the energetic frequency you carry into every room, every thought, every interaction throughout your day. And that signal, that broadcast, is built moment by moment, breath by breath, not in what you're doing or accomplishing, but in how you're being, who you're being, what state you're inhabiting. Let me explain this with a metaphor that makes it crystal clear. Imagine you're a radio, a receiver and transmitter of frequency. If you want to hear jazz music, you don't sit there demanding jazz from the universe, complaining that you never get to hear. Quantum manifestation works the exact same way through resonance and matching frequencies. You can't pull in the timeline you desire, you can't attract the reality you want, while vibrating consistently in the frequency of the timeline you're trying to leave behind, while resonating with the past you're trying to escape. So, how do you change the dial? How do you shift the frequency? You start by becoming conscious of your current frequency, by actually paying attention to what you're broadcasting. Not just what you think about in your head, but how you feel in your body throughout the day. How does your body move through the day with grace or tension, with openness or contraction? How do you breathe when you're stressed, shallow and tight, or deep and full? What stories run on a loop in the background of your mind constantly, like a radio you forgot was on? Most of us, if we're honest, are not manifesting deliberately with intention and awareness. We are manifesting on autopilot, running default programs, recycling the same states over and over, the same reactions to similar situations, the same energetic broadcasts to the field day after day. And the field, being the perfect mirror that it is, faithfully mirrors those repetitive patterns back to us without judgment or discrimination. The shift begins when you interrupt the pattern, when you break the loop. Not with brute force or harsh self-criticism, not with frantic effort or trying harder, but with simple embodied practices that are gentle, that are sustainable, that actually work. It can be as subtle as taking a conscious breath in a moment of anxiety, bringing yourself back to center. As gentle as placing a hand on your heart when you're spiraling into self-doubt, offering yourself comfort. As bold as asking yourself a new question: what would the version of me who already has this do right now in this situation? And then taking one small action from that place, from that identity, embodying it before you see it. Because here's what no one tells you, what gets left out of most manifestation teachings. The quantum doesn't need you to be perfect, doesn't require flawless execution. It just needs you to be coherent, aligned, broadcasting a clear signal. Coherence happens when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction toward the same destination, when they stop contradicting each other. It's when you stop saying one thing, feeling another thing, and doing something else entirely, creating static and confusion. It's when your whole system, every level of your being, hums with a single unified signal like an orchestra playing in harmony. And when you reach that state, even briefly, even for a few minutes, you create a kind of gravitational pull in the quantum field, a magnetic attraction. Reality begins to bend toward you, circumstances shift, opportunities appear. But let's get practical now, because understanding is meaningless without application. If you want to embody abundance, to become the frequency of prosperity, practice generosity right now in your current circumstances. Not just with money when you have extra, but with attention toward others, with time in your schedule, with energy and care. Train your nervous system, your automatic responses, to feel the sensations of I have enough, there's plenty. I'm taken care of, even if the numbers in your bank account haven't caught up yet to what you know is coming. If you want to embody love, to become the frequency of deep connection, practice vulnerability in safe ways, opening your heart in small, courageous ways. Open your heart in small, courageous ways that scare you just a little bit. Be the safe space, the accepting presence you're longing to find in someone else. Become it yourself first. If you want to embody health, to become the frequency of vitality, practice presence with your physical body. Listen to your body's wisdom and signals. Listen to your body, feed it nourishing food, move it with joy, rest it deeply from a place of respect and care, not punishment or shame. This is the simple path, the direct route to manifestation. And yet few walk it consistently because it asks you to go first, to lead with being, to become the frequency before the evidence arrives in your life, to trust before you see proof. It asks you to lead with being, with who you are, not needing or wanting or chasing. And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood pieces in the whole manifestation conversation, something that trips people up constantly: emotional regulation and nervous system awareness. People assume manifestation is about feeling good all the time, maintaining constant positivity, never being negative. It's not that at all. That's toxic positivity that bypasses reality. It's about feeling real all the time, being authentic with yourself, and learning to bring your system back into alignment, back to center, when you wobble and get knocked off course by life. This means welcoming your emotions, all of them, not bypassing them or pretending they don't exist. It means holding space for fear without letting it drive the car and make all your decisions. It means practicing emotional fluency, developing skill with feelings, so you can navigate waves of emotion without drowning in them, without being swept away. Here's the truth that might be hard to hear. You will wobble, you will lose your center, you will doubt yourself and your abilities, you will question if any of this works. You will have days when the old timeline pulls at your heels, when familiar patterns try to drag you back. That's okay, that's part of being human, that's normal. The power isn't in never falling, never losing your way. It's in how quickly you return, how you bring yourself back to center, how you realign yourself with the frequency you're choosing. So, here's my invitation to you right now in this moment. Take a breath, a real full breath. Notice where you are physically and emotionally. Just observe without judgment. Ask yourself honestly, what timeline am I tuned to in this moment right here? Is it the one of fear and worry, or the one of trust and knowing? Is it the one of lack and scarcity, or the one of abundance and overflow? Is it the one of waiting and hoping, or the one of arrival and celebration? No judgment, no criticism of yourself, just noticing where you actually are. Because the moment you notice, the instant you become aware, you create a choice point, a fork in the road. And choice is the gateway to coherence, the doorway to alignment, the key that unlocks everything. Drop a word in the comments that captures the energy you're stepping into today, the frequency you're choosing to broadcast: trust, flow, joy, ease, power, love, peace. Your word matters, your declaration matters, because you matter. Let this be a signal you send not just in this space, but into the quantum field itself. In the next block, we're going to pull this all together into something cohesive and actionable. We'll explore how to turn these insights into a living practice that you can sustain, how to navigate setbacks with grace and self compassion, how to keep returning to center, and how to sustain the frequency, how to hold the vibration that collapses your dream timeline into reality, that brings the invisible into the visible. But before we continue forward, I want to thank you genuinely for walking this journey so far, for staying with me. If you're feeling lit up right now, if you're feeling seen and understood, if you're sensing that something inside you is already shifting, is already changing, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. Join this space, this community, this ongoing conversation. This isn't just a channel, it's a frequency, a gathering place. We're not just watching content, we're practicing new ways of being together. We're not just absorbing information, we're creating possibilities in real time. We're not just learning facts, we're remembering who we truly are beneath all the conditioning. Let's keep growing and shifting together. And in the comments right now, drop a word that captures your intention, your commitment, right now, in this moment. Maybe it's allow, maybe it's expand, maybe it's receive, maybe it's flow, or maybe it's something uniquely yours that speaks to your soul. Whatever it is, that word becomes your signal to the field, your declaration to the universe, your promise to yourself. Here we are, approaching the final piece of the puzzle, the last part that ties everything together. And I want you to really hear this, let it land in your body. Manifestation is not a performance you put on for others or for the universe. It's a practice you live, a way of being you embody. It's not something you master once and then you're done forever, checking it off your list. It's something you live moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice, day after day. So many people get stuck in the mindset that manifestation is about doing more, about learning more techniques, hacking the system with clever tricks, perfecting the formula. Because here's the reality that no one can avoid. You will face moments that test you, that challenge everything you believe. There will be days when fear creeps back in like an unwelcome visitor knocking at your door, when old patterns whisper in your ear with familiar voices trying to convince you to go back, when the timeline you're trying to leave behind feels like it's pulling you back with invisible chains, like gravity dragging you down. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to go into control mode again, to grip tightly, to push and force and micromanage every detail, to make it happen through sheer will. But the real mastery, the true art of this practice, is this. Can you stay in the frequency of trust? Can you hold that vibration, even when the evidence hasn't arrived yet? When the physical proof is still invisible? Can you hold the vibration? Can you maintain the feeling of it's already done, it's already mine, while the world around you still looks the same, while nothing has changed externally? Can you become so anchored in the new timeline, so rooted in the new reality, that the old one no longer seduces you, no longer tempts you to return, no longer has power over you? This is where embodiment becomes non-negotiable, where it moves from optional to essential. This is where the practice becomes your life, not separate from it. So, let's make this practical, let's bring this down to earth. Every single morning before you check your phone or email, before you let the world in, take a few breaths and ask yourself this question. What frequency am I tuning into today? What station am I choosing? Is it scarcity or abundance, lack or overflow, fear or trust, worry or faith, control or flow, forcing or allowing? Throughout the day, as you move through your activities, use your body as your compass, as your guidance system, as your truth detector. Your body will tell you when you've slipped out of alignment, when you've lost the frequency. You'll feel the tension building, the tightness in your chest or shoulders, the contraction in your belly or jaw. And in that moment, in that instant of awareness, you don't need to shame yourself or beat yourself up or spiral into self-criticism. You just need to notice without judgment. Breathe into the sensation and recalibrate gently. Come back to center. Ask yourself, what would the version of me living in my desired timeline, already experiencing what I want, choose right now in this situation? Then take one small action from that place, from that identity, from that state of being. And at night, before you drift to sleep, before you lose consciousness, replay the day not with harsh judgment or self-criticism, but with gentle curiosity and compassion. Where did you wobble and lose your center? Where did you align and hold your frequency? Where did you glimpse your own power, your own ability to choose? Gratitude amplifies coherence, it strengthens the signal. Acknowledge even the smallest wins, even tiny moments of alignment. Celebrate them, appreciate them, let them grow. Now, here's something most people miss entirely, something that gets overlooked. Community matters more than you think. Relationships shape your frequency. We are social, energetic beings by nature. We are not meant to do this alone. We co-regulate with the people around us. We sync up with their nervous systems and energy fields. When you surround yourself with others who are practicing coherence, who are playing consciously in the quantum field, who are committed to embodiment and growth, your system entrains to that vibration. Your frequency naturally rises to match theirs. This is exactly why it's so important to curate your environment, to choose consciously, not just physically what's in your space, but energetically who and what you expose yourself to. Find the voices, the teachers, the spaces, the communities that remind you of who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Fill your field with reminders of your chosen timeline, with images and sounds and people that align with where you're going. Let your external world become an ally to your internal practice, a support system, not a constant challenge. And remember this deeply, there's no finish line in this journey, no final destination where you arrive and stop. The point isn't to arrive at some perfect state and then stop growing, stop evolving, stop practicing. The point is to live inside a continuous unfolding, an endless evolution, where you become the living edge of your own evolution. Because here's the most beautiful part, the truth that changes everything. The quantum field is not separate from you, it's not something outside you or distant from you. It's not something you manipulate from a distance with techniques and tricks. It's something you're entangled with, woven into, inseparable from. You are the field expressing itself in form, you are the wave dancing in consciousness, you are the observer and the observed simultaneously, the creator and the creation. So when you tune your frequency, when you shift your vibration, you're not just asking life to meet you somewhere. You're becoming the version of life you've been seeking. You're embodying the reality you desire. You're collapsing the wave through your coherence. I want to leave you with this final invitation, this call to action. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward after this video. After this journey we've taken together. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's freedom, or maybe it's something uniquely yours that resonates with your soul. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a quantum seed you plant not just in this space with this community, but in the quantum field itself, a signal you send to the universe about who you're becoming. And if this video has stirred something inside you, something deep and true, if you felt a shift happening, a remembering of who you really are, a spark of possibility igniting, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. This isn't just a channel where you passively watch videos. It's a living space, a sacred gathering point for those ready to step into their own creative power, for conscious creators who know there's more. When you hit subscribe, you're not just joining a list or a number on a screen. You're joining a movement of minds and hearts, of souls awakening, reshaping what's possible, rewriting the rules, creating new realities together. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family, with people in your life who need to hear this message today. You might be a blessing in disguise for them, you might be the catalyst for their transformation. Remember, you're not just sharing a video, you're spreading a frequency, you're planting seeds of possibility, and that positive energy you put out will come back to you multiplied, helping you manifest everything you desire. Thank you for walking this journey with me, for your presence here. Thank you for your attention, your energy, your openness. You are not just a viewer, not just someone watching from a distance. You are a participant in this unfolding, a co-creator in this field, part of this quantum experiment we're conducting together. Keep tuning to your frequency, keep aligning with your truth, keep playing in the field with curiosity and wonder. And speaking of continuing this journey, in the next video, I'm going to reveal the ancient secret that quantum physics just confirmed, something that's been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years that will completely transform how you understand manifestation and reality creation. You won't want to miss it. Click through now and let's keep expanding together.